Hey, this is Colin from Atsign. Just wanted to give you a few demos of using the Atsign technology. This is the first demo. It's going to be using application suite called NoPorts. This is a command line version, so SSH NoPorts. We're going to use SSH, so SSH NoPorts from this Atsign to this Atsign via this Atsign and to this machine. So this should look just like an SSH connection. The difference here is that the machine that I'm trying to get to is not accessible on the internet. It has all the ports closed. It's on a 1918 address space, and I'm on the hotel Wi-Fi here. And you can see using NoPorts, I can get straight into the machine. And if we look at its IP address, you can see this is my home lab network address. And if we run nmap on this to see which ports are open on that local network, we will see that there are no ports open there. So we've logged into a device that has essentially no access to it directly, and we have no ports on that machine. So that's using SSH. We can also do exactly the same thing, but with any TCP port. So with another command called NPT, so NoPorts Tunnel, from this Atsign to the same Atsign via the same rendezvous point. This is where the TCP sessions meet. Interestingly, the rendezvous point never decrypts any data. It just joins the TCP connections to the same machine. But this time we're going to connect to port 8006, my Proxmox server, and listen on port 8006. And this is the IP address on my remote network of my Proxmox server. And -T0 means don't time out. So we will connect to that. And you can see now NPT is listening on localhost port 8006. And so if I open up my web browser here to localhost 8006, we will see that I get logged into my Proxmox server where I'm actually running this this machine here. So we can see whether I can find that. Yeah, there it is. SSH NP01 is my machine here. And so we sort of gone full inception mode here, and you can do things like log into the console. All that stuff works as you would expect. So that means you can RDP, you can SSH, you can use no machine, connect to websites, anything you like, and you never have to have any ports open on the internet. And so that's quite nice. And if you're comfortable with the command line, you can do all of this on the command line. However, not everybody's comfortable with the command line. So the software is written in such a way that there's a core, and we've wrapped either a CLI around it or a desktop app. So let me just click the desktop app so you can see the login. So this is what the desktop looks like. It's NoPorts by Atsign. Hit get started. And you see NoPorts Atsign. I'm going to log in with my Atsign, same Atsign. And you can see there's the Proxmox setup, and behind the scenes, this is the configuration. So it's essentially this command line options. And this one's got the keep alive set. So if the internet drops, it will reconnect. And yeah, that's that. So we go back to connections. If I close this connection, you'll see this. This will die. So I obviously can't connect now. I go back to NoPorts and just hit the play button. And you can see we're connected. And if I hit refresh, we will get logged back in again. So yeah, two options. You can use a command line, which is great for sysadmins, DevSecOps. But for regular folks that just want to connect to a service, then they can do this. There's all sorts of things you can do here: import, export, add new profiles, favorite them, a whole bunch of things that you can do with it. So that's that. Also switch at signs. I did show briefly the policy manager. This is where you set policies up. So you can see there's my home lab. This is the Atsign that I'm running on the machines in my home lab. And there's my Atsign. Only I'm allowed to log into this, my home lab. I've got other things in this policy manager, and the policy is basically done by an Atsign as well. So my Atsign for this is WiseFrog and WiseFrog. And you see this Atsign, and these machines you're allowed to get into, but it's these Atsigns are allowed to connect. So obviously I'm there, but also one of my engineers here, Xavier, Gary, and Chris are allowed to get in, but also our CI/CD agent. This is actually used for signing Microsoft software. So not only humans, but also agents are allowed to get into that machine as well. So you can set those up in a web interface or in a database, but you can also, if I log into WiseFrog, there we go. I can switch Atsigns. I've got no connection set up here, but I have got the policy. And you can see there's the policy, but in this time, exactly the same policy. Obviously, it's the same policy, but it's available to edit inside the application. So there's a web interface, direct interface, API interface, all the things you'd expect, I guess, in enterprise class software. So that's the NoPorts portfolio. All this stuff is built on top of the app platform, and that allows you to build your own things. Some of those can be very simple. So there's a simple example here is an application called Furl. And if we look at Furl, it essentially allows you to share files. So if we click here, pick a file, you can decide how long you want to be available for. So let's say an hour. This is a.a, and then encrypt and share it. So essentially what this does is it encrypts a file and then shares a URL where you can download the file. And the encrypted file is then decrypted in the browser. So end-to-end encrypted files, essentially. So let's copy that URL and put it in the web browser. And you can see the message from me. Obviously, the URL is a long URL. You're not going to get this URL. It's for me. This is the name of the file, how long it is, and provide the PIN. So we've got the PIN number. Let's copy the PIN. And it would download it into the browser and then use a WASM to actually decrypt the file inside the browser. So the browser is actually doing the decryption. So truly end-to-end encrypted file transfer. And the person that you're sending to doesn't have to have an Atsign. You have to have an Atsign to send, but you don't need to have an Atsign to pick up the file. So it's super useful if you've got to send, important files around, certificates, login files, whatever it is. Really easy way of sending stuff. This is pretty easy to build. More complex things, though, would be talking to AI agents. So let me just show that. So we have an application here. You can see that I've got a bunch of chats. Let's just increase the font size for you so you can see it. Using exactly the same Atsign. So in this case, Atsign is constab, but I'm talking to agents at Llama, and this agent is basically directly connected to Llama instance. But in actual fact, there's 3 of these agents running against 3 different LLMs in 3 different parts of the world, and we can see that by looking at the keys. So you can see here we've got the Llama instance, and this is sort of the control panel. You can see that one of them's been revoked. One of them's in OCI Virginia, one of them's in OCI Australia. And so if I set up a new conversation, like what is the moon? That request will go out to these agents, and I'll get an answer back from one of those agents, in this case, OCI Virginia. And you can see it's streamed in. Now, this OCI Virginia machine just has the agent software running, but it hasn't got any ports open. So there's no attack surface for that. And it's only going to answer to Atsigns that it knows and has been approved. So I happen to be using one of those @signs as approved to get answers. But what you can also do is if I let's revoke the OCI Virginia key, then that means that the only one that can answer now is OCI Australia. So the keys basically give you control as to where you can run infrastructure. But what's important is you keep the context of the conversation yourself in your own @sign. So if I can say, does it get hot? We actually keep that context on our side on the @sign. So when you speak to the next agent, you can see it's slowly coming in all the way from Australia, but it knows that when I said it knows that we were talking about the moon. What you can also do, if I just unrevoke these things again, so we can, let's just unrevoke this one. This particular machine, the one in Atsign, California, has got access to Claude. So what I had in the settings here, you may have noticed, is it says only use Llama. And I've clicked now, so this will be in hybrid mode now. So if you ask a question and the confidence is low, and obviously that's adjustable, it will actually go out to another larger LLM on the internet, and with a sort of privatizing it, and not giving away any details, but maybe a wider question, and then compile that and then bring back the answer. So ask a difficult, slightly more difficult question like, does it get hit? Let's see which agent's going to answer. I would imagine it will be the one in California. You can see it's taking a little bit longer time because it's probably going out to speak to Claude and then recompiling the answer. And that's exactly what's happened here. So its user Llama 3.2 model wasn't 100% confident that it was completely right. It's gone out to Claude Sonnet 4.5 and then consolidated that. So it's privacy filtered and it's a hybrid answer. That's all configurable. So you configure it on the UI and away you go. So that's 3 or 4 different examples of what you can do with @signs. We can connect from people, entities, and things to people, entities, and things, have everything end-to-end encrypted with no ports open, and everything is event-driven. So no more waiting for infrastructure to catch up with what you want to do in production. So I hope they're going to give you a little bit of a flavor of what you can do, and you can ask us more difficult questions of how it all works in the next meeting. Thanks.